You chose absolutely right tuning in to Rwanda Television tonight. A very good evening to you and welcome to our edition. Thanks for your company from wherever you are joining us from. These are the headlines. The government of Rwanda was hailed for a significant progress in implementing the Sustainable Development Goals. On Wednesday in Kigali, the Africa E-Trade Group was inaugurated. A very good evening to you once again and thank you for your company on Rwanda Television News. The 2024-2025 national budget will account for 574.5 billion Rwandan francs. This is part of the report of the Committee on National Budget and Patrimony in the Rwandan Parliament on the 2024-2025 budget framework paper. Prince Manzi starts us off tonight.
The budget used in the 2023-2024 financial year account for 5,115 billion Rwandan francs, approximately to an 88% implementation. The 2024-2025 budget will see an 11.2% increase, summing up to 5,690.1 billion Rwandan francs. Various citizens gave their opinions through the civil society and in discussions with the parliamentarians. The Senate also shared opinions on this budget framework paper, stating that the activities related to transport, education and preserving the history of the genocide against the Tutsi, the budget is to increase, as they suggested, is insufficient. It is a national budget distributed based on the NST1's 7 pillars, with the economy accounting for 60%, 36.5% for social and 13.5% will be allocated to good governance. Requests for the Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning. The ministry is to consider all ideas shared on the budget framework paper by the parliamentarians, following up on the issues raised in this report as ideas were being collected. It is expected that in this year 2024 and the next year 2025, the country's GDP will increase by 6.5%, but in the following years, this rate may reach more than 7%, according to the figures of the Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning. The budget is expected to come from different sources, including domestic taxes, loans and donations that come from other countries and various international organizations.
The National Electoral Commission called on leaders of the southern province districts and other local authorities to address any issues that may hinder the smooth running of the presidential and parliamentary elections scheduled for July. Residents have been expressing concerns regarding difficulties in their identification documents, which might hinder their participation in the upcoming elections. It has been 5 months since my ID photo was taken. I wanted to have it by the time of the election, but it's still pending. We declared our IDs in March. My son went to the sale office and was able to get his, but mine was not available yet. I came here to ask where else I can go to get my ID. The National Electoral Commission highlighted issues of no electricity in some of the voting stations, in some of the voting sites, and other that need urgent action. There are issues of poor roads leading up to election sites. Communal works have begun to ease accessibility. The other issue is lack of electricity in some of the sites, as activities may go up to late in the evening. In this case, electricity is extremely important. In many cases, electricity is available at the station, but not all the rooms are connected. The administration of the Southern Province reiterated optimism that these issues will be addressed in time. We want to remind citizens that voting is their right and civic responsibility. We urge them to get ready, but also keep checking if they appear on the voting rosters. For those with identification issues, we urge them to go to relevant authorities for help. The southern province has about 600 voting stations and about 4,000 voting booths. Clearing voting rosters currently stands at 98% in the province. The United Nations Assistant Secretary General and Executive Director and CEO of the UN Global Compact, Sanda Ojiambo, highlighted that the government of Rwanda has made significant progress in the implementation of Sustainable Development Goals. Adams Kwizera brings us the details.
It was during the discussion that brought together the executives of the public and private companies on the United Nations Global Compact. They engaged in a roundtable discussion on the private sector's role in enhancing business sustainability and achieving the Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs). Some individuals in the private sector have noted that despite progress, there are still obstacles to fully implementing these goals.
Challenges, not that many, but many somehow. And some of them that I can mention, we have like a challenge of just being informed. Actually, not everyone is informed about this, and they are not informed about the fact that sustainability is really an important thing, and that we should all take into consideration sustainability when we are doing business. So information about all the initiatives that are happening for companies to be able to become more sustainable, it's a key thing for people, and it's still a challenge because people are not aware. Then another challenge that we face is like, okay, once you are informed, it's good, but then you are like, okay, how can I now do it? Because we don't have the necessary skills. So this is another challenge that companies face.
However, they also emphasize that with improved investment opportunities and facilitation for the private sector, they are ready to play a role in implementing the Sustainable Development Goals.
We need to ensure that we also inform the people we work with, the stakeholders. We have employees, we have suppliers, we have customers, and other also stakeholders. So we need to ensure that we also play our role to inform people about sustainability, about the different initiatives you are aware of and part of, and how you can actually benefit from them, and also share knowledge, because when you're doing business, you don't do it alone, you work with partners. So we need to also look at the different partners with whom we can work and become more sustainable.
And saying that we are the continuous learner. We are always learning new from others. As we are creating now this kind of a platform, I'm really very thankful to the UN as they're thinking to create this, and this one will be a kind of a network which will be helping us inside and outside.
The UN Assistant Secretary General and Executive Director and the CEO of the UN Global Compact, Sanda Ojiambo, highlighted steps taken by the government of Rwanda towards implementing these goals, including efforts to promote gender equality.
Now here in Rwanda, what we see is so much more opportunity to invest in digital and technology, great work being done in gender and seeing gender and inclusivity in the workplace, in the political space. People talked about the opportunity for skills building. There was a lot of discussion around that. So CEOs and businesses seeing the opportunity to skill up the workforce so that it's ready for the opportunities of the next century and beyond. We talked a lot about accessing finance, the need for there to be adequate and accessible finance to enable businesses to grow, from small and medium enterprise to large businesses that have aspirations for national, regional and continental business as well as global.
In the 2019 Africa SDGs report, Rwanda was recognized as one of the countries leading in the rapid implementation of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Adams Kwizera, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Adams Kwizera, for the report. Rwanda's business community will be holding from May 16 to 17 an interactive session and interactions in general with their international counterparts during the Africa CEO Forum, a meeting that is expected to facilitate investors to forge partnerships and strike deals. However, they also point out that they will be in a good moment to demonstrate the available business and investment opportunities.
You know, we are not the one guiding this forum, but we are participating in the forum. So our participation, I'm sure it will be, most of the CEOs in Rwanda will be participating in this one. And what we are going to gain is to see the level of others. because we are sure that we are receiving really one of the big CEOs from Africa. And in Rwanda also, I think there is something we are going to share in terms of where we are from and where we are and where we are facing. We are one of the countries, in African countries, which can tell a vision. We started by the Vision 2020. Now we are facing the Vision 2050. So for us, we have something to show and to share.
The forum's 11th edition will bring together over 2,000 business executives, investors and policymakers from Africa and beyond, under the theme "At the Table" or on the menu, a critical moment to shape a new future for Africa. And moving ahead, on Wednesday in Kigali, the Africa E-Trade Group was inaugurated. It is expected that the E-Trade Group will provide jobs to between 80 to 125 youth and women in 15 years ahead. Prince Manzi.
Rwanda was chosen as the host of the headquarters of the Africa E-Trade Group, which aims to promote the projects of the youth and women in Africa by supporting the use of technology in trade between African countries. To achieve the desired Africa in 2063, it requires the increase of the Made in Africa produce, as elaborated by Haile Mariam Desalegn, the chairman of the Africa E-Trade Group.
We have a plan of overall target of 80 to 125 million jobs by 2037, that contributing to the eradication of extreme poverty in Africa. This is a bold and ambitious target which we cannot achieve on our own. Hence the idea to invite all our friends from Rwanda, Africa, and the rest of the world to come and bless this initiative. We are in the beautiful building because of the government for the temporary location, and then we look forward to our permanent location. We are in the beautiful building because of the government for the temporary location, and then we look forward to our permanent location in this beautiful city of Kigali.
The target is to catalyze the creation of millions of SMEs in 15 years, resulting in 80 to 125 million jobs, mostly comprising women and youth. The president of the Pan-African Manufacturer Association, Engineer Mansour Ahmed, reiterates that cooperation is key for the realization of the Africa Free Trade Area.
In the private sector, we are excited about the great benefits that will be brought by many of these platforms and facilities. In addition to those that are being provided by the Afro-Exim Bank and other institutions, there is no doubt that this opens huge opportunities for the participation and integration of private sector institutions and bodies in the effort to move Africa forward and indeed to achieve the goal of the Africa we want.
The Director General of Trade and Investment at the Rwandan Ministry of Trade and Industry, Tony Kajangwe, demonstrates that the government prioritizes the adoption of technology, hence the investment in infrastructures.
Africa's internet economy has the potential to reach $180 billion by 2025, accounting for 5.2% of the continent's gross domestic product. By 2050, this is projected to contribute close to $712 billion and 8.5% of the continent's GDP. As such, Rwanda has put digitalization at the forefront of its economic development agenda. Internet connectivity through broadband internet is widespread, available across the country with high speeds, despite the recent underwater sea cuts that we're all experiencing.
In the next 5 years, Africa E-Trade Group aims to skill 18,000 young men and women who help their 6 million colleagues around the continent, so that in the next 10 years, more than 24 million jobs will be created.
To education matters, university lecturers request for more trainings on artificial intelligence in order to catch up with the latest world trends. They made the request during the Reshaping Education for Sustainable Development organized by the conference organized by the University of Rwanda College of Education in partnership with the Mastercard Foundation. Artificial intelligence was highlighted as an important tool to promote quality education, hence the need for educators to stay up to date. The Ministry of Education noted that Rwanda incorporated AI in its policies as a roadmap to enable the country harness the benefits of AI and mitigate its risks. Building on the mission of the Vision 2050 Smart Rwanda Master Plan and other key national plans and other policies, it equips Rwanda to harness AI for sustainable and inclusive growth. And that's all from us here at RBA's Rwanda Television News. On behalf of the entire news production as well as the technical team, many thanks for being with us. And up until next time, stay safe and have a great evening. Goodbye.